Hey folks, it's Mary, aka MercyTriumphs, and this is Slow Crochet. Today we are going to the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival, and that takes place in Dixon, Tennessee at the fairgrounds, which is a little bit south and a little bit west of Nashville. So let's go. Good morning. It is around 7:30. I'm about to leave my home and drive over. This is the first time I've ever gone to something like this, and I'm so excited. I was even dreaming about it. So come on with me, and yeah, I'll see you when we get there. I got here plenty early. I am at the fairgrounds now in Dixon County, Tennessee, and I'm a little jittery from having a little bit of coffee this morning, and I'm also just really excited. So I'm here about 30 minutes before it's actually supposed to open, so I'm gonna have a little bit of breakfast. I'm gonna maybe walk around a little bit. It's chilly outside today, so I'm wearing my Lanthier shawl since it's 100% wool. It'll hopefully keep me a little warm. But yeah, I'm gonna get a lay of the land, and yeah, I'll catch up with you soon. Just got done in the first building. I am gonna go check out the second. I did get something in that first building, talked to some wonderful people, and yeah, I'm gonna go see what I see in the second. I think there's maybe a total of 3 buildings, maybe 4, but definitely 3. So we'll go see. All of my first rounds, and so now I'm going to go back a second time and see what I see. Y'all, there is so much, not just knitting, not just crochet, not just spinning, There's so much to see, and I'm probably just going to try to feature the things that I have some kind of knowledge of, but I do want to have as many of these vendors and people I talk to. I'm going to have them listed in the description below. What a wonderful experience we're having so far. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me. I came back to the car for a little bit of a water break and to get out of the wind. You will notice I am no longer wearing my shawl. I have a story to tell about that, but I just came from the initial first building that I was in and made the round again. I have some ideas of the things that I want to go back and get, but I no longer have my shawl, so now that kind of throws me for a little bit of a loop. Do I want to get colors to replace that shawl, or do I want to continue with just what makes my heart sing? So I am kind of trying to think about either making a little DK weight cardigan or joining up with Crystal over at Bag a Day. She's going to have a shawl along pretty soon, and she's estimating needing about 1,500 yards of a DK weight, but I thought I could still do like 1,500 yards of a sport weight or a fingering weight and just make a smaller shawl that way. But that's kind of where my headspace is right now. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I'm gonna have a little snack here, get my head together, but y'all, I've had some wonderful conversations, and yeah, I can't wait to tell you the story of why I'm not wearing my shawl anymore. It is no longer in my possession, but it's a real sweet story I'll tell you here in a little bit. Yeah, so deep breaths. Are y'all as overwhelmed as I am watching this? Yeah, so that's all I have for now. I'll see you in the next little bit. It is about 12:15. I've been here almost 4 hours. I have come, I have shopped, and I am ready to head home. I need to hydrate a little bit. I need to eat as I go, but wow. Okay, what an experience. Let's get on the road. We'll get home, and then I'll show you what I got and share any of the little stories and my takeaways. So yeah, I'll see you here in a bit. I'm sure y'all are curious what I came home with, so let me get into that first, and then I'll go back and do a little bit more narration, tell you a little bit more about what I experienced there and some of the stories, including why I am not wearing my shawl anymore. So initially, when I got to the fairgrounds, I knew that there were several different buildings, and I went into the first one thinking, I'm just gonna scope around for a little bit, I'm not gonna buy anything. That was all well and good until I saw Gnomish Yarns. So this is their logo, and I noticed that some of their yarns were named after Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, those kinds of things. And I saw one hank that was just gorgeous, calling my name. And I thought, if I leave this here, someone else is gonna get it, so I need to go ahead and get it now. It is called Hobbiton, and this is Tookish Fingering. So this is 100% Peruvian Highland wool, 459 yards of a fingering weight yarn. So these gorgeous colors, oh my goodness, actually her whole stall reminded me so much of Knoxville, which is a city that is set kind of between some rivers and mountains, over kind of joining up to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and the Appalachian Mountains. So these colors, really this one in particular, it was just so rich, just so vibrant, and it has that green that has that mossy undertone. It's not a really strong blue undertone, it's a little bit of that yellow, and when I saw it, I just felt so happy. Like this is one of my absolute favorite colors, this rich green, and with the tonal quality in it where you have the sense of the forest, the sense of the different shades of green even with the same tree. So this was the only hank that she had of this particular color, and it was called Hobbiton, and because it was Tookish Fingering, I just had to get it. This is kind of an impulse buy, but I'm glad that I got it because when I went back, she had a busy stall, and that made me happy for her. I love their business cards. I thought that I was just getting one, but she gave me another as well. Aren't they so beautiful? I feel like these are just little works of art in and of themselves. I'm gonna have to hang on to these. Hand-dyed yarn, looms, and accessories for book lovers by book lovers. And they have a YouTube channel too, so I'll have to go check them out. So that was my first purchase. Very happy to have it. Not sure what I'm gonna do with it, but maybe it'll be a cowl, maybe it'll play really well with some other pops of color in there. Love, love, love that this is my first purchase. After I had gone through all of the stalls for the first time, I got in the car and I was sitting and thinking about what my next moves would be, what was really standing out in my mind. And the place that I knew I had to go next was Alicia's booth, which is Artwork by Dream. So most of the stalls had lots of things that have to do with fiber. There was plenty of yarn, plenty of notions, plenty of fibers and fleeces and things of that nature. But Alicia's stall had artwork. It had prints and paintings. And initially when I'd gone through the first time, she and I had had a conversation about the blue heron painting that she had and about some of her smaller pieces and prints, and I thought, I'm gonna have to come back here. A lot of her paintings did feature things like sheep or Highland cows or other kind of woolly critters, and some of them even had applied fiber to it, which is really sweet. But those were not the things that I went for, and I'm going to try to see if the glare will let me show this to you because I did get a print framed, but if not, I'll show a picture right here. Alicia and I both tried to find the name of this particular painting of hers. It is a print, and she was looking online at her various sources, at her website and her social media. I was doing the same once I got home, and I cannot find the name of it, but it is absolutely beautiful. It has some of my favorite colors, which kind of feature back there. In fact, I might just put that one there. But those wonderful, wonderful colors, that serene setting, and the kind of aquatic feel to it. The river that is just gushing over a waterfall that is both warm and gentle at the same time as powerful. It just made my heart really happy. I thought, this is an artist that I want to support, and this is going to be a piece that I remember this time for, even if I go on and make things with the yarn and end up giving them away. here's a print that I'm going to hang on to. It can go with my collection from other artists, either friends that are local artists or just artists that we've supported over the years. So very happy with this purchase. It's going to be a wonderful memento, and I will stick a label on the back so I'll remember. Actually, I could just stick her card there. Here we are. Artwork by Dream. They are up in Ashland City, Tennessee, which is still kind of Nashville, but not really. And here is one of her woolly friends on the back. So go check her out. She is wonderful. And it says she's also a certified art therapist. So very, very cool. Oh yeah, and one other thing, did you know that 5% of all of our sales go to support the Livestock Conservancy, a nonprofit working to protect endangered livestock and poultry breeds from extinction? So on her little QR code, you can find out more about that. That was my second purchase. My third purchase took me a third time coming through to finally make a decision. And this was actually the very first place I stopped and chatted when I first got to the festival a little bit early in the morning. This is from Miss Debbie at Passion Yarns. And she had a beautiful, bright booth. She and her husband were both there, and they were super sweet and chatty and personable and wonderful. And after going through the festival 3 times, I ended up back in her booth, right back where I started. So let me show you what I got. Well, first of all, I picked up a few little souvenirs for my kiddos. She had little samples of some of her yarn, and I thought my children might be really happy to have some of these, because they are starting to get into making more of their own things, whether it's making gear for animals that they have or making costumes. So I thought having a few little samples would be a nice, happy little souvenir for them. But the yarn, the yarn, Mary. Okay, I got 5 hanks. 5 hanks. All right, we have Passion Yarns quality hand-dyed yarns at everyday low prices, which I will attest that her prices were better than anyone else's that I noticed. And not that that is by any means a selling point, because I do believe that especially some of these people who were raising the animals and shearing the animals and spinning it themselves definitely deserved what they were asking. However, I am still on a stay-at-home mom budget, and so I wanted to be really intentional with the funds that I had, with the Christmas money that I had left. I did pay attention to yardage, I did pay attention to yarn weights, and I did pay attention to prices, and a lot of the vendors did say, you know, a percentage off if you get 3 or more hanks, and that was the case here. So I got 5, and they're all on the same base. These are Beloved Fingering Weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. They are 463 yards or 100 grams. This one is the color salmon. This one is the color pistachio. So actually that would be pretty tasty, right? Like a pistachio crusted salmon, although I probably wouldn't want to eat these. These look a little bit sweeter than savory. But to top it all off, I got 3 of the platinum. That really doesn't look like platinum, does it? It doesn't look silver at all, but it looks like a wonderful, creamy, natural color. That gives me so much yardage that I'll be able to either use these in Crystal's shawl along when that starts, or I'll be able to use them in any of my giant shawls or fingering weight shawl patterns that I've been wanting to do, or I think maybe one day I'll work on them. But yeah, I thought with 5 of these that I could have 2 accent colors, and that wonderful cream will be a nice neutral, so I'll be able to pull that out just at my leisure. And it'll be beautiful with whatever I use to accessorize with it. Alternately, I could just keep the 3 platinums together, and then these 2 could go together in a different project as well. Or if I wanted to mix fibers but not mix weights, I could add in my Hobbiton yarn, or even with all that, use that green as another kind of neutral, as a nice contrast to this kind of aqua pistachio and the pink salmon. She also included a little stitch marker along with her card, and she said, hey, sign up for my email list, and if you make anything with my yarn, let me know, and she'll send out I think, a newsletter towards the end of the year that shows a lot of different projects using her yarns. I thought that was really sweet too. I'm gonna let my hair down for this next little bit. It would take me so long to go over all of the different people that I had conversations with. I had so much fun getting to talk with various farmers, various yarn dyers, and various artists from all over this area. I do want to feature a few of them. Number one, Middle Earth Alpaca Farm, a family-owned farm in Dixon, Tennessee. Miss Allison and I connected over our love of Tolkien, and we connected over our love of crochet. She does some really beautiful amigurumi. It's something that she's really gotten interested in. And she even said that she's considering teaching a class on it next year at the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival, which I thought was wonderful. Someone else that I want to highlight was River Cottage Farm. They're out of Kentucky, and I was so impressed by their wares because they had fleeces, they had things that they had spun, but also they grow their own indigo dyes and they dye from that indigo. And I was so tempted by some of their beautiful indigo dyed wool. She was showing me the difference between when it first goes into the dye bath versus the end. And it sounds so cliche, but it was exactly how you would expect indigo dyed denim to be. From that deep, deep color all the way up into the more faded color. It was just gorgeous. And if I had had unlimited funds, I certainly would have spent more time in that shop and come away with a lot more. Here's more information about them. They are someone that I hope to, in the future, be able to put some of my money towards and support them as a more local business. The Tennessee-Kentucky line is only about an hour from Nashville, and so they're pretty much local in my opinion. Another farm that I wanted to highlight is Two Roots Alpacas and Fiber Mill. They are up towards the Smoky Mountains, up towards the Appalachians in Greenville, Tennessee, and I talked with Mr. Brad and Miss Ruth Ann for quite a bit of time. They were super sweet and wonderful, and they, I believe, have been part of the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival for quite a while. And they were even telling me about the Great Tennessee Yarn Tour. I'll put it right here. Now, this is a tour that lots of people have participated in. There's yarn shops all over, mostly Middle to East Tennessee, that participate in it. And over a couple of months, maybe you go to different shops. You can pick up some goodies there or have special discounts at these yarn shops and kind of stamp your passport. And I was aware of them, but I haven't been able to commit that much time, like that many weekends, to go travel to these yarn shops. But it was really great because you can look at that list and it'll have a lot of great yarn shops in Tennessee if you're ever interested. These folks are really connected to the Yarny community as farmers and producers, and they even mill their own yarns there. I did ask if they ever take in like special commission milling, like a special pet or something like that. They said they used to, but it's just gotten to be too much for them because they have so many animals to take care of. So they were super wonderful as well. Wanted to highlight them. Unfortunately, I cannot highlight everyone that I interacted with. I had so many wonderful vendors that I got to speak to, so many people I got to smile at and just be present. I don't know, it was such a wonderful feeling being surrounded by artists, and not just shoppers and people that love fiber, but also those that love creating with it and creating these colors and loving the animals. It was just a whole other wonderful experience. I did see Smart Arts and Crafts represented. They are my local thrift store that specializes in arts and craft supplies, and they support adults with special needs. They had a table there right where you could see, and they were also collecting yarn. Anyone that wanted to de-stash and give to this worthy cause. It was super wonderful. I was happy to see them. I spoke with them a little bit, told them how much I appreciated them. Happy days there. There were 2 different yarn trucks that were there, and I don't know, I think one of them does some hand dyeing of her yarn and also has other yarns. That was the Traveling Yarn Yogi. And in her truck, I got to handle some fibers, some yarns that I've only heard described. So Yarn Snob Yarns was one of them. I got to hold in my hands actual power balls, which was amazing. And I thought actually about going back there to think, because I thought that would be a beautiful way to do a shawl for Crystal is to use one of her favorite hand dyers. I thought, no, I'm going to do what my heart feels happy about. But these two kind of colorways, this like cowl kit that had the black and the brightly colored yarns, that made me really happy. Almost came home with that, but I left it for someone else. But yeah, I might have to look at Keith's website next time I have the funds. That would be a splurge and a joy for sure. There were also some companies that did yarn tours. There were plenty of spinners, weavers, all kinds of needlecraft. I think there were some lace makers even. One of the things that was so interesting to me was how almost every vendor there had some kind of connection to spirituality. That was something that was very present in a lot of the booths. Not always, it wasn't always very front and center, but I found that so interesting that people put their faith or their beliefs or their spirituality out into what they had there at the festival. It reinforced to me just the importance of creativity, the importance of the work that we do, that we're connecting our heart and our hands and our minds, whatever your faith is. It is a spiritual experience to work with fiber. It's something that's really intrinsic to who we are as humans. You know, we've always been covered. We've needed coverings. So I found that aspect really interesting, and maybe I'll have to make a dedicated video to that at some point in the near future. And on that note of kind of spiritual experiences, where did my shawl go? Well, when I first got to the festival, I was on my first round of the first building I went into, and I saw a woman, and I was just smiling and grinning, and she was complimenting me on my shawl. La da da, I move on, I make my rounds, and then I come back and I see her again, and she again compliments me on my shawl, and she's standing there next to a friend, so she and I start talking a little bit. She's there to support her friend, an artisan. She's not a knitter or crocheter herself. So we're talking a little bit, and I hear this voice, like a still small voice, if you will, saying, "Give her the shawl." So I start to take it off and I say, "Here, try it on." She tries it on, loves the colors, loves how it feels. She says, "Do you take commissions?" I said, "No, I go too slow. We're not like that." I said, "May I give this to you?" And she was stunned, but very grateful. And she said, "Please, can I pay you?" I said, "No." I said, "I love making shawls. And if I give you one, that means I get to make another because I only have so much space for my shawls." So she was so happy. She gave me a big hug and she said, "This is going to be perfect because I'm going abroad. I'm going to go to Spain and somewhere else. This will be great. I can pack it easily. It'll be lightweight enough, but a little bit cozy. It'll be wonderful." I said, "Wonderful. I'm so glad. Enjoy." I started to walk away and her friend came and tapped me on the shoulder and kind of whispered in my ear and said, that you have no idea what that means. She said, "My friend lost her husband about a year ago, and she came with me today thinking that she wanted to find a shawl somewhere. When she goes abroad, she is actually taking her husband's ashes to scatter." She said, "Your gift means more than you realize." And so that just did something to my heart because I thought, this is a small thing. This is a small awkward thing. May I give you the shawl that you're complimenting me on? And you've heard me say in the past, it's something I'll do. You know, if a friend compliments a hat, if a sibling or a child wants something, yeah, sure, it's yours. That just means I can make more. But to hear that this small little thing, this small little nudge, this act of obedience, and honestly, to give up something that I love. That Lanthier shawl is beautiful. It goes with my blue ensemble. It's very versatile, wonderful, love it. But how much better is it that she has it now and she can have a memory of, this shawl came to me. It was meant for me. It was a free gift. And so my prayer now for her is that she will feel loved every time she pulls it out, and that in her grieving process, she'll find hope and she'll find peace. So little bitty things, big impact. You know, we really don't know how much the things we make are going to impact other people and impact the world around us. So what a joy and an honor to get to be part of that story. And I'm also so thankful that that friend came and filled me in on some of the background as well. Definitely a memory I'm going to treasure about this experience. And I just love that I get to share those with you. So that is it for me. I need to go take a nap. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Let me know in the comments, have you ever been to a fiber festival? And if you have, was it as overwhelming as this one was to me? This was my first one, so hopefully the next ones that I'll go to, whenever that may be in the future, I'll be a little bit more prepared. Also, do let me know in the comments below, have you ever given a gift of something that you've knitted or crocheted that had a real profound impact that you didn't expect it would have? I would love to hear those kinds of stories as well, because those always are so encouraging and they're always so fun. It's so great to share those kinds of things with people you know are going to understand. Thank you to all of my subscribers, old and new. Thank you to everyone that comments and hangs out with me and just enjoys this channel, this YouTube adventure alongside me. It is such a joy, such an honor, such a privilege to be part of your life. And if I'm not your cup of tea, thank you so much for listening this long. I do appreciate it, and I do hope I will see you again soon. Bye.